My God, I hate drugs.
A Manila city official confirms to CNN Philippines a child almost drowned in the bay yesterday morning. In a text message, City Administrator Erickson Alcovendas says the child is now in the pediatric intensive care unit of the Hospital ng Maynila. And we'll talk more about the dangers of swimming in Manila Bay. Our resident doctor and MedTalk Health Talk host, Dr. Freddy Gomez, will be speaking to a DOH official later on in the program.
A South Korean automaker is among the companies eyeing to take over the South Korean shipbuilding firm Hanjin. In an interview with reporters, Defense Secretary Delphine Lorenzana says Hyundai Motors expressed interest in helping Hanjin. Aside from Hyundai, Lorenzana said shipping companies from the U.S., Japan, Indonesia, Australia, and Turkey are also among those interested in Hanjin. The defense chief, however, said this does not rule out a possible takeover by the government. Hanjin recently filed for corporate rehabilitation after accumulating over $400 million or 21 billion pesos in debt. The Labor Department previously pledged to assist the workers who will be displaced by Hanjin's rehabilitation to find new jobs. Some consumers are still feeling the pinch of high prices, even as consumer prices further declined in January, the lowest inflation rate in 10 months. Rex Remito tells us more.
Government data show better conditions for Filipino consumers in January. The rise in price of goods slows down further for the third consecutive month. January inflation is at 4.4%, lower than in December, but still higher than the same month last year. This is also the slowest in 10 months after consumers took a beating from high prices in 2018. High consumer prices also slowed down the country's economic growth in 2018. But the government is now making headway to address rising prices.
Ang rason na nag-decelerate o yung pagtaas ng presyo ay bumagal ay dahil pa rin doon sa mga rason kung bakit siya umakyat. Ito yung ating pagkain, food and non-alcoholic beverages.
Besides cheaper food, prices of alcohol, tobacco, transportation, and utilities have also gone down. Some products, though, have yet to reflect lower prices, such as meat in some wet markets in Quezon City. At Nepa Q-Mart, prices are unchanged since October, when prices reached a 9-year high. A kilogram of beef costs 340 pesos, pork for 200, chicken for 150, and galunggong for 140 pesos. Retailers blame short supply for the prices that hardly move.
Sa baka naman, pag bigay sa amin mataas, talagang tinataasan namin kasi mahal ang baka eh.
Meron pong supply kagaya ngayon, wala po kaming manok. Wala pong paninda.
Kasi medyo kulang ng isda. Kulang po ng isda.
Ara Simeon believes government pronouncements on prices are not reflected at the retail level.
Parehas lang naman ng presyo nila nung nakaraan at saka ngayon. Gusto ko nang huwag nang tumaas.
House helper Ali Rodriguez says she's hoping for a respite.
Laki, gusto sobrang mahal ngayon. Presyo. Kababaan man pa ang presyo kasi maliit ang sahod namin.
Bersales says consumers have yet to realize the impact of the second round of fuel excise tax increase, as most service stations have yet to factor in the additional tax in their pump prices.
Sa palagay namin, wala pa yung epekto talaga ng excise tax, ng additional, dahil sa pagkakaalam ko yung mga gasolinahan natin, hindi pa lahat ay nagpataw ng excise tax.
The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas meanwhile says sudden changes in the global oil market will influence its inflation outlook. But in general, they're seeing a slower inflation rate in the coming months until next year. Rex Remitio, CNN Philippines.
President Rodrigo Duterte and the Health Department are urging parents to have their kids vaccinated to avoid getting the flu and other diseases. Also, what are the dangers of swimming in Manila Bay? And to tell us more, we are joined this morning by Dr. Ruby Constantino of the Health Department, Disease Prevention and Control Bureau. Good morning, Dr. Constantino, and welcome to New Day.
Good morning, Doc.
Now, the government is appealing to parents para magpabakuna sa kanilang mga anak, dahil tumaas ang number ng mga measles at flu sa mga ospital. Meron ba tayong mga figures ngayon, doktora, kung gaano kadaming bata ba ang hindi nagpapabakuna?
Actually, based on our data as of last year, although we conducted, because of last year, if you will know, we have an outbreak of measles, but we conducted what you call the supplemental immunization campaign, or SIA, we only have, out of the 2.8 million children that we targeted, we only have around 1 million, which is all equivalent to 44%. So what happened now? There's an accumulation of the unimmunized children. So we have now, as based on our data and also the WHO, we have a total of 2.4 million unvaccinated children. So we are impending that we will have another outbreak for earlier this year.
Okay, so maiko-connect ba natin, doktora, yung outbreak ng measles doon sa pagkababa ng pag-immunize ng mga bata?
Yes, of course, because you cannot, a child will not be called a fully immunized child without the measles vaccination.
Kamusta naman, how about yung flu naman, doktora? Kamusta yung sitwasyon ng mga naapektuhan ng flu virus?
Okay. Based on our epidemiology data, we have an increase, if you notice in the news, we have an increase in cases of our flu, cases in the hospitals. But based on last year, the last week, December 23 to 31, we only have 197 cases. And these are based on our data, which is actually 84% lower than that of the 2017 of the same period. However, we can say also that maybe what we have, the data, are only those who consulted or in the hospitals. But most of the cases of our people who have influenza may not seek consultation. So they are out of the data that we have.
Now, Doctora, can we attribute this drop in immunization by children, by parents for their children in both the measles and the flu vaccine with the impending fear, or probably the current fear that parents have, especially with issues with the dengue virus?
Okay. We started the 20 years trending of our immunization coverage. And actually, since 2011, since 1998, we have already 95% coverage of our immunization. And then there was a sudden decrease in 2011. And that is why we have an accumulation of our children unimmunized. Then we had an outbreak in 2014. So we did that SIA, what you call the supplemental immunization campaign. And then we have then accumulated again of the 3 years cohort. That is why we have an outbreak. But of course, the major reason wherein we have a big drop from a 70% in 2017, we had only around 39% in 2018. And of course, because of the infectious care.
Okay. Is the DOH doing anything to increase the confidence of the people with regards to having their children immunized? Dahil napaka-importante to.
Yes, of course. Actually, last year, we did a survey and also focus group discussions in NCR, in Parañaque, in Pasay City, and in Quezon City, so that we will know what were the reasons of the parents why they did not submit their children to vaccinations. And one of the reason is actually is the infectious care. So we are now changing our strategies in terms of our communication to the people, including the local leaders, and even the health workers, because they also lost their confidence and trust in the way they provide the vaccination. We are now changing our strategies, being more aggressive, and actually directing our communication really not only to the parents but also to the local leaders, so that they can help us motivate the parents to submit their children to vaccination.
Okay, that's good. Now, Doctora, there were also some reports on fake rabies vaccines being sold in the market. Do we have any update on this?
As far as I know, the DOH already has, together with the FDA, has controlled already the distribution of this fake rabies vaccine.
So, okay, nasa ano? Now, let's go on to a very important part, and that is Manila Bay. Now, early reports say that despite the warning of the government, people are still seen swimming in Manila Bay. Now, what are the dangers naman, Doktora, of swimming in Manila Bay?
Actually, people, maybe they have this information, or maybe as per their observation, that the Manila Bay already is clean because it is already without the garbage. But that is only the physical cleanliness. But the water itself is not yet clean because it still contained the fecal coliform. The fecal coliform, actually, that according to DNR, they issued an administrative order that the standard to have these recreational activities, this water to have contact with humans in bathing or swim or any recreational activities in Manila Bay is only 100, most probable number per 100 ml of water. But as of today, according to the DNR, billions of coliform is in that water. So actually last Monday, the DOH issued that Manila Bay actually is not yet fit for swimming or bathing for the population.
Not even safe, ano? Now, to give an idea, Doktora, what are some of the diseases na pwedeng makuha ng isang taong mag-swimming sa Manila Bay ngayon?
This fecal coliform in Manila Bay would enter into the body of our population through the mouth, through the nose, and ears, and also skin contact, especially if we have lacerations or abrasions in our skin. So the most probable disease that this population will have if they have in contact with this water in Manila Bay, of course, we have typhoid fever, and then we have gastroenteritis or pagtatae, and then we can have hepatitis also through the mouth, and of course, ear infections or skin infections.
Okay. Now, Doktor, marami rin nagtatanong, kung nandito na yung proseso ng paglinis ng Manila Bay, ano, gaano katagal naman? Let's say, for example, in an ideal world, ano, nalinis na lahat, natanggal na lahat ng basura, gaano katagal on average para maging safe ang Manila Bay para isang tao pwede mag-swimming doon?
Actually, we don't have that time schedule, but we can only say that Manila Bay is safe already if the fecal coliform will drop to 100 mpm per 100 ml, which is the standard for a water body classification.
Okay, so kailangan mahanap natin yun, matest ulit yung tubig. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ruby Constantino of the Health Department Disease Prevention and Control Bureau. And in other news, the World Health Organization says the global obesity problem has reached epidemic proportions. They estimate more than 1 billion adults are overweight and over 300 million are considered clinically obese. In today's Health Minute, CNN's Meredith Wood explains why that is putting the younger generation at greater risk for some cancers.
Certain cancers that are typically found in older patients are now appearing in younger generations, thanks in large part to our growing waistlines. New research released by the American Cancer Society shows half of all obesity-related cancers are on the rise in millennials. Colorectal, endometrial, gallbladder, kidney, pancreatic, and multiple myeloma typically don't show up in patients until they're in their 60s or 70s. But a new study found startling increases of those cancers in young adults between 24 and 49 years old. And the risk of colorectal, endometrial, pancreatic, and gallbladder cancers in millennials was double the rate of baby boomers at that same age. One oncologist not involved in the study says it's a real wake-up call when it comes to weight. In the U.S., one survey found more than 40% of Americans are considered obese. While the association between obesity and cancer is unclear, there's no doubt it exists. Oncologists warn that cancer patients with a higher body mass index often have a worse prognosis, especially if surgery is needed.